Afternoon, hello, and welcome to the Omni Coalition News Show, aka TOCNS. I just realized that my mic, I had some technical things going on in the background. Let's just say that. Anyway, this show is an amalgam of strange, weird, bizarre, off the wall, and otherwise things you don't normally see anymore from most news sources these days. During a time of political overabundance and divisiveness, we present you with more unifying topics to discuss for the most part. For links to those articles and music done by Carrera and anything else potentially interesting, check the underbar in the description below. Anyway, I am Aoxander, and today is Tears Day, also known as Tuesday, also known as Tuesday, December 20th, 2022. A lot of twos going on today. Anyway, let's jump on into the news, shall we? From Rebel News, we have Minister denies his apparent offered veterans-assisted suicide. Not good, but not surprising. Says here, Minister of Veterans Affairs of Canada, Lawrence McAuley, was responding to a video posted by Poilievre accusing the Veterans Department of offering suicide to veterans instead of offering support to make them well. It goes on, quote, never has, never will, end quote, McAuley wrote. Credible reports of up to 9 veterans across multiple provinces being offered aid have accumulated over recent weeks, leading to accusations that, despite McAuley's earlier explanations that it was one rogue VAC bureaucrat acting as an angel of death, there is a broader problem and unspoken policy within the ministry. It continues on here. Veteran and podcaster Mark Meinke testified at a Commons committee about the veterans who have come forward to him with stories of being offered assisted death instead of help from VAC. Please stop breathing into the mic. Welcome to the show, Kratos. Boy. You heavy breather, you mouth breather. Jesus.
You do know my face was right up against the mic, right?
I do now. Like, that makes sense.
Yeah, no, I don't breathe that heavy. I mean, geez, you don't need to point out how heavy my breathing is when I stream. Goddamn.
You're just like, you're on the Minecraft. Welcome to Minecraft. Like, I don't know why
Welcome to
Minecraft. Yeah, but no, like I was reading the story here about, it says here, veteran and podcaster Mark Meinke testified at a Commons committee about the veterans who have come forward to him with stories of being offered assisted suicide instead of help from VAC. Christine Gauthier, a veteran and Paralympian, and we've spoken about her before, testified that rather than provide a wheelchair lift in her home, she was offered MAID, or medically assisted suicide, or something like that. I don't know what the exact acronym stands for, by a VAC staffer. In 2021, she wrote to both McAuley and Prime Minister Trudeau to inform them of what she was advised to do. After previously asking veterans to come forward with their stories, it would appear that McAuley is now denying what they say has happened to them. To demand better treatment and care for those contemplating government-assisted suicide, please visit helpnothomicide.com. So, yeah. We, as I said, we've spoken about a couple things here and there the past week or so about this, and yeah, finally, like, you know, this is it's coming into the public's eye, which is good. So, what say you, Brados?
It's a very, very strange thing, indeed. To even think that they would even allow that.
Well, I mean, like, you know, it is cheaper to just kill people than to, you know, keep them alive. So, I mean, why do you think it costs money to get into medical school, but it's free to join the military?
True.
So, yeah. Anyway, we're going to run up more from Rebel News here. Feds refuse to disclose data on worst airlines. Well, I mean, that would, like, you know, make sense. It says here, first reported in Blacklock's Tuesday, the agency tasked with passenger rights complaints is unable to provide bulk data on the worst offending airlines, but was instead only able to categorize airlines by complaints per flight. Quote, in the period from April 1st to September 30th, the Edmonton-based discount carrier Flair Airlines Limited had the highest complaint rate of 13.7 per 100 flights, followed by Swoop Inc., a WestJet subsidiary, 12.6 per 100 flights, Sunwing Airlines 8.6, WestJet 4.9, Air Canada 3.6, and Air Transit 2.2. The agency did not respond to requests for raw data used to calculate the complaint rate. Parliament in 2019 mandated an electronic collection of air transportation statistics program It was intended to have all major commercial airlines submit figures on performance data for release to the public, end quote. Alright, so they are mandated by law, it sounds like, to disclose this information, and they're refusing. So that's really shady. It says here, Canadian airports have suffered from a cascade of federal government decisions. Well, yeah, that happens. You know, the instant the government gets into something, yeah. So, good thing I don't fly. Like, even if I was, you know, like, able to, like, I can't afford it, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm definitely never going to go with Spirit, though. You know, most likely JetBlue. So, but that's my preference.
Or even United Airlines. That's one of the ones I use. I use either United or American Airlines. Because personally, I've never had any issues with either. They're expensive.
JetBlue has those blue potato chips. Those are nice.
Ooh.
Yeah. Anyway, we're going to move on up here. More from Rebel News. Police spent $1.3 million on hotel rooms during Freedom Convoy removal following Emergencies Act invocation. Huh.
Rubber duck.
It says here, an email written from the Department of Public Works wrote, the department has received a request from the RCMP to exercise, or the Royal Canadian Mountain Police, to exercise its emergency contract delegation and awarded a contract on their behalf for hotel accommodations to support their efforts to manage the response to the truck convoy currently occupying downtown Ottawa. That was a quote in a February of 2018, or February 18th email. The Trudeau government invoked the Emergencies Act on February 14th, 2022, my birthday, wonderful, in response to the Freedom Convoy. So it sounds like they were using taxpayer dollars to fund, you know, essentially vacation accommodations to the officers who were suppressing, you know, the freedoms of people who just wanted to do their jobs. Wow.
Yeah, that's what it sounds like.
Yeah. It says here, the RCMP signed a contract with the Courtyard Ottawa East Hotel, which is operated by Marriott, for $1,265,600. This is Canadian dollars, I believe. The hotel is located at 200 Coventry Road in Ottawa East. Please do not harass them. But yeah, like, this is coming from a country who, yeah, as we were talking about, you know, just the previous article, would sooner just, you know, medically assist kill people rather than actually help them, you know, survive. So
isn't Marriott Hotels just another monopoly?
Probably.
So they have, like, I mean, I would say they are, just because. Yeah, sorry about the crinkling you hear in the background. But yeah, no, they have like 10 different. Well, they have like a handful of different companies underneath them. That's under Marriott. So I would, honestly, I'd consider it a monopoly. So I don't really. Not a big fan.
Yeah, I'd say so myself. Like, you know, they're not a complete and total monopoly, but. And I'm currently screwing around with my audio, so I don't know where it's at, where it was. I'll just keep it right there. We'll see. But like, they are pretty big, you know. Like, it's going to be kind of difficult to find something that's not a Marriott, you know. Like, is DoubleTree owned by Marriott? Who owns DoubleTree?
I know.
Hilton.
I think it's
Hilton. Let's
Hilton.
forget the Hiltons.
Yeah, Hilton.
So.
And I believe Best Western's under that as well.
Maybe. Let me check that. Who?
There's like different ones that are under it.
Best Western Hotel is they are comprised of 3 hotel companies: World Hotels Collection, Best Western Hotels, and Sure Stay Hotels. So Best Western is their own entity. They're not owned by something, but they're part of a conglomerate. It sounds like. Anyway, let's move on up here.
This cat is doing.
More from Rebel News. Survey: Canadians are unfazed by political correctness. They prefer Merry Christmas greeting regardless of religion. Good. You know, like...
Good. That is the way to do it.
Like, you know, like, we are a Judeo-Christian society. Muslims have their society, Christians have their society, Jews have their society, Hindus have their society, you know, the Tibetan monks have their society, the Buddhists, you know, like, you know, they all have their own little pockets. I don't mind, you know, like, being the melting pot, But I mean, like, you know, if I just pass by some guy on the street, you know, Merry Christmas, oh, Happy Hanukkah, yeah, cool. Merry Christmas, Happy Ramadan, you know, cool. Merry Christmas, you know, Happy Kwanzaa, you know, whatever. Like, you know, I don't see what all the hullabaloo is about, you know? Like, we're at the end of the day, we're all people trying to, you know, make it in this world. So, like, why are you trying to look for reasons to be angry about things? Find the similarities, not the differences, you know? But it says here, a post-media leaguer survey found Canadians prefer wishing each other Merry Christmas during this time of year. 70% of responders greet people with Merry Christmas compared to 23% who go with Happy Holidays. Which Happy Holidays I understand, you know, if you really want to be that sensitive, like, you know, if you really don't know, if you want to, you know, be more, you know, like, I don't know, easy on the language, I guess. But, like, as I said before, like, you know, if somebody comes up to me and wishes me Happy Hanukkah or whatever, I'll say, okay, Merry Christmas to you, like, you know, or Happy Hanukkah to you, whatever, you know. It says, quote, institutions, governments, businesses, sometimes they make a lot of effort trying to come up with, I guess we call it a politically correct approach to passing on greetings, in quotes, said Andrew Inns, an executive vice president at Leaguer. Let's not forget, how many people have been fired for saying Merry Christmas during all of this PC crap? You know, it's like, oh no, you have to say Happy Holidays or you're fired. Like, so they really tried pushing that crap. Yeah. Mm-hmm. I've been told several times.
Like they're just showing they don't really making money. They just want to fold to just liberal bullshit.
Well, you know, it does, like, you know, right, left, liberal, conservative, Republican, Democrat, both crap, you know, same poop, different animals, both different wings on the same bird. You know, it's the same stuff. You know, like we had McCarthyism back in the day. What we're going through today is far worse than that. But, you know, the right have done, you know, their fair share of things. But, you know, but yeah, like, you know, we're currently in the ebb of the flow, I guess. I don't know. But it says here, the opinion survey explicitly examined attitudes on how religion relates to the holiday season and found that only 8% of non-Christians take offense when they receive Christmas greetings. Quote, maybe we are worrying about something that the people we think we might be offending don't feel very offended, end quote, said Ends. So, like, yeah, like, you know, stop getting all, you know, bent out of shape about this stuff, people. Like, you know, like, it's supposed to be a term of like, wishing you a good time. You know, why are you getting offended at that? You know? Like, if I say Merry Christmas to somebody and they don't celebrate Christmas, okay. You know, they make a hullabaloo, like, okay, whatever, Happy Holidays. You know, no skin off my nose. I'm just trying to be nice to you. So.
Yeah.
Anyway, let's move on up here. This one's ridiculous. More from Rebel News. Trees chopped to make way for environmentally friendly potsies. Oh, potsies. Oh, I guess they're removing them. For a second, I thought, okay, that meant demonstration, so I'm going to have to rename the video then. Australia Post is demanding residents to chop down trees so potsies can deliver the mail on new environmentally friendly electric tricycles. Okay, so it's not a plant. This is I'm getting swung here. The Postal Service recently introduced a fleet of electric trikes across Victoria as part of their bid to reduce emissions by 15% by 2025. But the Age newspaper reported that Australia Post was demanding local councils and residents cut back vegetation to create easier access for the green tricycles. So isn't that ridiculous? You know, in the name of environmentalism, let's cut down trees. What? Like, how does that help?
Yeah, like correlate where?
Yeah.
Like correlates where?
Yeah. And I see we have been joined by Dip. Welcome to the show. I hope
Hello.
your podcast was very well. It sounded like it.
Yes, it went quite well.
Yeah.
Good.
It says here, continues on, the resident was told mail may not be delivered to the address if branches were not removed. Wow, so they're straight up threatening whether or not they'll even get their mail. That dictates whether they'll get their bills, whether they'll be able to pay the bills. Well, I mean, now you can do it all online, so mail is kind of like, you know, a trifle anymore these days. But still, like, so essentially they're holding their mail hostage.
Just kind of defeats the purpose of it.
Like, okay, so in the name of environmentalism, we're gonna hold your mail hostage, force you to chop a tree down, so our electric bikes can reach your post office box, like, or your mailbox. That is lunacy. Then again, it is Australia, you know. So anyway, let's move on up here. More from Rebel News. Feds admit to spending $43 million annually to administer the carbon tax. Wow. Says here, an inquiry of ministry posed by Alberta Conservative MP Chris Warkentin was forced the Environment and Climate Change Ministry to divulge the ballooning Make Work project for the public sector. The operational costs of the carbon tax during the 2021-2022 fiscal year were combined for $43 million and resulted in the full-time equivalent salaries of slightly over 333 employees. Half the number of the beast right there. That's a little concerning. The carbon tax has two employee-heavy components. 300 federal bureaucrats are required to manage the direct-to-consumer fuel surcharge program at a cost of $38.4 million. Another 33 administer the output-based pricing system on so-called polluters at a cost of $4.36 million. Wow. And there's not much left of the article, so I'll just finish this up. The Greenhouse Gas Pollution Pricing Act received a royal assent in 2018, came into effect in 2019, and has risen from $20 per ton in 2019 to $50 per ton in 2022. The carbon tax is scheduled to hit $170 per ton by 2030. Wow. Wow. Like, how can you tax carbon? Like, maybe this is all a ploy to make De Beers even more money. You know, diamonds are just carbon. So, yeah. That's wild. So, anyway, more from Rebel News. Liberal Party review highlights need for female and ethnic votes. You know, why are they so concerned about segregation? Like, at the end of the day, as I said, we are all humans on this planet. You know, we should be finding unifying things to discuss about. Like, why are you aiming towards certain demographics? You're not a good politician unless you're the majority, you know, speaker. Like, you know, like, if you can speak on behalf of most of the people, then you're doing the right job. If you're speaking on behalf of a certain group, then you're not doing a good job. And you're only enforcing the invalid ideology that there's differences. There's not. Says here, a Liberal Party review has highlighted factional infringing rather than the party's policies as the key reason for its disastrous election loss, according to a report in The Australian. The review, to be submitted to the party's national executive this week, says Liberal Party branches were riddled with division and infighting that delayed key pre-selections until the eve of the election. Federal Senator Jane Hume and former National Director Brian Lugani argue that the party needed a cultural change before the next federal poll if their election changes were to improve. Shadow Immigration Minister Dan Tehan, speaking to Sky News ahead of the review being handed down, said the Liberal Party needed to change its culture on infighting immediately. Yeah, you can't really do much, you know, if you're infighting, you know. So, I mean, a house divided against itself cannot stand. Abraham Lincoln. Oh. I think my internet's taking a dump. Can you hear me, Brados?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, good. I thought for a second I got lagged out there again. Anyway, we're going to move on up here. Another article from Rebel News. I know we're kind of Rebel News heavy, but there's a lot of decent things that they cover. It says here, federal officials admit there is no data available on the number of guns smuggled into Canada. Well, that's concerning. According to an inquiry of ministry first reported Monday by Blacklock's reporter, the Public Safety Ministry, despite a third of $1 billion budget dedicated to handling gun smuggling, has not collected any data to determine the scope and scale of the problem. The Liberals recently expanded an already wide-reaching handgun ban, Bill C-21, to include potentially millions of hunting rifles in the name of public safety. Yeah, sure. Canada, again, Canada doing Canada things. So, yep, there's that guy. So, yep. Ridiculous. Anyway, our last article here from Rebel News: Edmonton City Council approves $100 million for bike infrastructure, including 5% property tax hike amid inflationary concerns. So, Yeah, more environmentalism crap, pushing for bikes and everything, which is nice and all, but it's not the right time. As part of Edmonton's budget deliberations, its city council approved more tax hikes and $100 million in funding for bike infrastructure over the next 4 years. Wow, why? The motion passed 9-4 with councillors Tim Cartmill, Sarah Hamilton, Karen Princip, and Jennifer Rice opposed. The only people with their heads screwed on right. In Edmonton's bike plan, the city identified 678 kilometers in bike routes, nearly 300 kilometers being district connector routes cyclists can take between neighborhoods, with others meant for use within a community. Parts of the infrastructure include standalone retrofits, others will be part of neighborhood renewal projects. Mayor Amarjit Sohi said investing in active transportation like bike lanes saves lives and is essential to reaching net zero emissions. There you go. Being pushed by this, environmentalism, malarkey. They're not wrong, but it's not affordable. It's not realistic. It'd be nice, but society is not yet there yet, and we probably won't be. And if we keep on down this path, we might never be. So,
Yeah.
Anyway, going to move on up here. More from the Mirror, an exclusive from to the Mirror here. Hell on the 999 front line. 999 is the UK's version of 911, for those who do not know. Paramedics reveal how delays mean they arrive to dead patients. That's not good. Paramedics have revealed the horror of how delays mean they arrive to find dead patients when they are too late to save. Hard-pressed 999 workers said they are routinely confronted by relatives demanding to know why their loved ones have been lost. Ambulance workers will be holding their first national strike in more than 30 years, starting on Wednesday. 9 of the 10 ambulance services in England and Wales will be affected as crews who are members of the GMB, Unison, and Unite unions head to picket lines. Health Secretary Steve Barclay met union leaders on Tuesday, but they said it was entirely pointless as he would not discuss pay. In a last-minute intervention, Matthew Taylor, chief executive of the NHS Confederation, last night wrote to Rishi Sunak asking him to reopen talks to end the deadlock. So, they're having an ambulance EMT worker strike. That's not good. So, yeah, I'm going to read this next couple paragraphs here. He told the PM that hospital and ambulance bosses had warned they cannot guarantee patient safety during the industrial action. It's clear we have entered dangerous territories, he added. Those were quotes. Emergency responders told how cash-starved ambulance services have been driven close to collapse by the Tories. Dave Robb, at the age of 64, a paramedic of 36 years at the Northwest, said colleagues are quitting as they can not do it any longer. Yeah, so they're not getting paid. They need to make money, man. Everything's a business, and if we expect them to pay their gas bill, we got to pay them enough to pay the gas bill. And they're out there saving lives. They need money. So anyway, more from the Mirror here. More UK problems. Firefighters spark London mass evacuation after gas main rupture as 1,300 are forced to flee. Oh my God. More than 1,000 people have been evacuated from central London after a gas main ruptured. The London Fire Brigade was called to the City of London during a rush hour after a 24-inch main ruptured. What? Brados, are you there?
Yeah.
I'm hearing mumbling in your background. Are there people talking or something?
No, I was acknowledging what you were saying.
It says here at least 1,300 people.
In a very me manner.
At least 1,300 people have been evacuated from the area, and it is unclear when they will be able to return. The London Fire Brigade tweeted, quote, around 1,300 people have been evacuated due to the 24-inch gas main that ruptured on Seething Lane in junction of Crutched Friars. End quote. Friedrich Street Station is not affected. Please avoid the area if possible. Okay, well, I guess the name of the area is rather fitting. Seething Lane Junction and Crutched Friars? I don't know. But anyway, that's awful. I hope they get it done before Christmas, And I hope nothing was too much destroyed. So, let's move on up here more from the Mirror. Carafilly dog attack. Woman at the age of 83 died after being mauled by her pet dog, I believe, in her own home. Yeah, dog. So, and this is what I was saying, guys. At the end of the day, it's still a wild animal. A grandmother has died after being mauled to death by a pet dog at her home. Shirley Patrick died more than 2 weeks after being savaged by the animal and sustaining life-threatening injuries. The 83-year-old woman died in hospital, police have confirmed, 17 days after the attack in Caerphilly, South Wales. The tragedy was just half a mile from a house where a 10-year-old boy was killed by another dog just a year ago. 55-year-old man, believed to be her son Paul, was also taken to a hospital with minor injuries, has now been released. 4 people who were arrested on suspicion of being in charge of the dog dangerously out of control, causing industry, have been released under conditional bail. So, as I said, you want to have pets, you want to have dogs, fine, go for it. But realize at the end of the day, it's just a wild animal. It is literally, the brain, the structure of the brain, literally incapable of understanding the concept of love, of loyalty. They're just acting on impulse. They're acting on, smells, on instincts, this is why a lot of people say that they don't have a soul, because the soul is love. And, I believe everything has a soul. But, how many people have to die in dog attacks before people realize that they're just dangerous animals? I don't know. And plus, the concept of pets baffles me too. We're all God's creatures. What gives us the right to own and control another creature? You want to talk about slavery? That's real slavery right there. Anyway, we're going to move on up here more from the Mirror. I told my husband he can't go to his ex-wife's funeral. Now I'm being called heartless. Well, you are. A woman has caused a stir online after revealing she doesn't want to let her husband go to the funeral of his ex-wife, who he was still very close with. They had known each other for more than 20 years, and she had died recently from an aneurysm in her early 40s. Explaining her reasoning in the Reddit forum, I am the a-hole, the unnamed user said, quote, the way he tells it, they were friends in college, decided to date, got married, then realized they weren't a great couple and decided to just be friends. All that happened years before I met him. He was clear early on that she was important, end quote. But why? According to the husband, also in his 40s, she was one of his closest friends, although it was purely platonic, but his current wife expressed some discomfort at him being so close to his ex. Well, I have a few words to say about that. She claimed the husband gave her an ultimatum and had told her that he would always choose his ex-wife because she was one of the most important people in his life. Okay, well, that's kind of not cool, but despite the ultimatum, the couple got engaged and he continued being friends with his ex. They would go for lunch together or go watch movies. She continued, quote, the few times I brought it up, he said, we had this conversation before. You had your chance to back out. She died after they had lunch the other day on their way to the car. He spent a bunch of time crying, but honestly, I was relieved, end quote. Wow. Wow, how can you be relieved that somebody's dead? Wow. What a heartless monster. What a heartless monster. So, whoever this guy is, get out of that relationship, dump her, and get her away from your life, far away as possible. What an absolute monster. To prohibit somebody from going to a funeral? Are you kidding me? To pay respects to somebody who's no longer with us, they will never be back again, they're dead, they're gone forever, and you're going to prevent that? Really? You monster. Wow. Ooh. Anyway, we're going to move on up here from UPI, or as we call it, OOPI. South Dakota student recreates university campus in Minecraft. Okay. That looks pretty cool. A computer engineering major at South Dakota Mines is offering virtual tours at the university building, or after building a digital model of the campus in popular video game Minecraft. South Dakota Mines said in a news release that Jackson Cheney started the project after graduating high school as a means of familiarizing himself with the university he was about to attend. Cheney used Google Earth as a guide while recreating the scale model of the campus and its buildings. He then set out to make the interiors of the buildings accurate to real life. Quote, I didn't know the campus very well before I became a student. When I first arrived, I got lost all the time, Cheney said in the news release. Once you get yourself familiar with campus, it's easy to navigate. I think this could be a great tool for incoming freshmen to explore the campus before they come to school, end quote. Indeed. Like, it's cool. Like, the amount of things that are happening with Minecraft is really, astounding the past couple of years, despite it being a Microsoft-owned IP now. It's kind of funny that Leave It to Humans, like in 2020 when we first went into the lockdowns and everything. Remember, shortly after that, somebody released, because they had been working on it for a while, a 1-to-1 scale model of Earth in Minecraft. And that took a while for it to do, but they got that done. So leave it to humans too. Like, as soon as we're told not to go outside, we go outside virtually. Or something, I don't know, I forgot the actual joke, but yeah. Anyway, let's move on up here. More from UPI. Idaho man decorates beard with 710 baubles for Guinness World Record. Oh, Christmas beard, you look very festive. An Idaho man with a serial record-breaking beard earned another title with his facial hair when he decorated his face with 710 multicolored Christmas ornaments. Joel Strasser of Kuna earned the record for most beard baubles in a beard when he managed to affix the 710 ornaments to his beard, Guinness World Records announced. Strasser previously set the record in 2019 with 302 baubles and broke his own record in 2020 with 542, and then broke it again in 2021 with 686. Quote, my technique has evolved and gotten a lot more specialized over the years that I've been breaking the record, Strasser told Guinness World Records. I stuck them in a lot more haphazardly at first, and that's why those first beard bauble record numbers were so low, in quotes. So yeah, so that's really cool. Like, and let me bigger this for you guys. See, like, here's the first picture here, and then side view. But then him next to the tree, he's more decorated than the tree. So, but that's really cool, man. That is really cool. Why can't I smaller this? There we go. Let's move on up here from NPR. The weird, wild, and wonderful stories you might have missed this year. So, let's see here. So the sculpture you got at Goodwill was actually looted from a museum? Now what? Okay, well that's interesting. Louisiana's newest legal sport, noodling. Oh, okay, yeah, so fish noodling. Alright. This fall, the Swinomish tribe built the U.S.'s first modern clam garden, reviving an ancient practice. Well, that's interesting. Kansas City's pinball scene is coming out of the dark and into the basement. Okay, so that's interesting. University of Maine 3D printed affordable housing. Oh, 3D printing housing. So that sounds like something for, like, colonizing the moon and Mars and everything. I remember seeing something about that for a while. A Missouri town almost forgot and invented the greatest thing since anything, sliced bread. How do you forget that you're the inventor, area of the sliced bread? The rock gods care about attitude, not perfection. Okay, yeah, of course. Now, how Honolulu got to the U.S. Championship in the Little League World Series. Okay. A young dolphin tangled in an illegal net was freed with the help of local Marine Patrol, so that's interesting. And then, there's more and more. What is this one? Building with bubble wrap, plastic grocery bags, and food containers. Okay, so baling a bunch of plastic waste into actual, insulation materials. Okay, that's interesting. Then there's a lot more articles here. For links, please refer to the underbar of the description. For every article that we've said and we'll talk about, we have one more article here. It says here from AP News, not just for kids, toy makers aim more products at grown-ups. So are we going to be talking about adult toys without talking about adult toys? Let's see here. Since the pandemic, Elizabeth Hulanik has turned to toys from her childhood to relieve stress. She and her co-workers chip in to buy Legos at Target and play at their desks. She also started playing with Silly Putty again, noting she felt comforted by the bouncy rubbery stuff that changes colors. Even her American Girl doll called Samantha, which she keeps in her china cabinet, resonates more these days. She's waited 1 year for her mother to buy her that doll when she was a child, and now she says it served as a reminder to always be patient. Quote, "This probably will be with me forever. I always need something to be tinkering with, and that's probably the safest bet for me to stick with a toy versus keep trying to figure out how to fix cars or something like that," end quote, the 37-year-old Piscataway, New Jersey resident said. So yeah, so that's really cool. So it's toy makers aim more products at grown-ups. So like, it's like, where does it get into that? Somewhere in this article here. The so-called kid adult market is significant. Ages 18 and older represent 14% of the U.S. toy industry sales, or $5.7 billion for the 12 months ending of September 2022. It grew 19% since the 12 months ending of September 2021, according to the NPD Group Inc., a market research firm. The group also enjoyed the second fastest increase after customers ages 12 to 17. So, like, essentially, she's not the only one who turned to toys, you know, while all this madness was going around. People started buying more toys and all that stuff. I bought, you know, a couple things over the past couple of years myself. So, but, yeah, that shall conclude the show. Once again, you can check the underbar of the description for any links you may be interested in, including all things Omni Coalition, but not limited to that. Anyway, for your dose of different, otherwise unknown news, we stream Monday through Friday at 2 p.m. Pacific Time, which is 3 p.m. Mountain, 4 p.m. Central, and 5 p.m. Eastern. I guess Brados is still AFK. Anyway, for all of you and all of us, I'm Xander. We have Brados in the live studio audience, and you, viewer, of course, are you. Until you catch us tomorrow, or if you're interested in history, we have a history show every day at 10 in the morning Pacific Time. Anyway, whatever the case, until then, don't forget to look right and left at every intersection, rate 5 thumbs, and subscribe. Toodles!